From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. I am Ben Hall. Good show tonight. Nashville is, of course, booming. But at what cost is that growth? Are we losing some of our characters, some of our historic buildings? That's what we want to talk about tonight. There, you saw, that's something we're going to discuss a little later. We have a group here, Historic Nashville, that has focused on trying to preserve historic sites in Nashville. Happy to have with us Brian Tibbs, the president of Historic Nashville. Brian, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I want to encourage people to call in with buildings or areas. You don't just focus on buildings. You actually focus on areas like historic cemeteries and that kind of thing. Buildings or areas in Nashville that they are worried may be torn down, destroyed, you know, go the way of progress, that kind of thing.
Right.
But as I encourage people to call in with what they think, we're also going to go over a list of what your group has chosen this year as 9 different areas that are endangered, that are threatened.
Yes, right. We have a kind of annual thing, and once again, thank you very much for being here. This is great. Every year we do a Nashville 9, and we actually, it's a year-long process where people put in nominations for, just like what you've asked people to call in for, properties that they feel might be endangered or properties that they may have some concern about. And over a few-week period, we go over this list, and we select our top 9, and those 9 are based on a lot of things, maybe the degree of potential disrepair it's going into, or maybe just a threat that we've heard that maybe some development may be encroaching on it or maybe looking at it. So we kind of put all those factors into it, and we do this big event, and we've been fortunate to have Mike Wolf from American Pickers be our honorary kind of announcing the Nashville 9 the past 2 years, and we really like to do it because it brings kind of attention to these properties, and hopefully things can be done to put in motion, and we've had some success from it that are put in motion to save these properties.
How busy a time is this for you all?
It's really, really busy, and it's pretty. I mean, it's exciting what Nashville's going through. I mean, it's amazing the development that's happening. But in some cases, it's going too fast, and there are some properties that we've lost already that are significant properties, and we just want to make sure that there's attention to them. We want to make sure that people are conscientious about what is happening, and because once we lose these properties, once we lose these stories, as I like to call them, and these chapters in these stories, they're gone forever, and the only thing we can do is go to the library and look at photographs. So we're hoping that this, you know, what we do, what Historic Nashville is all about, is just keep it on the radar, and when a property is endangered and it's something that is significant, that there can be an effort. We can talk to people, bring us involved with the developer, and maybe look for ways that it can be incorporated, or at least some ways be able to save and preserve for the future.
And there'd be people who would say, oh, well, you know, there's progress, and we can't stand in the way of progress, and,
right.
and they might question, you know, are you getting in the way of people who own this property and want to just move forward, maybe make some money, whatever the deal may be? You know, what do you say when people raise those concerns?
They're very valid concerns, and especially when it's your property and you know, you want to do something different with it. But the problem is with history and with the things we have, over time, if we do this for everything, the whole, you know, basis of our past will be just wiped out. When you go down Music Row, you see so many pieces that made Nashville what Nashville is, gone and disappearing. That's why now Music Row was on our Nashville 9, but there's been a lot of effort by the Music Row community to save it. If you go downtown now, the recently Trail West, a lot of these buildings that were so valid and so significant to that whole kind of historic community that was there are just gone. And so what I say is that yes, we don't want to stand in the way of development. We don't want to say of growth. That's what makes cities. Cities have to grow. Buildings, not every building is going to last forever, nor do we expect it or plan it to. But let's be conscientious about what we're tearing down now. Let's not just do it without thought. Let's be sensitive to it and make sure that the big story, the big picture is not lost one building at a time.
Is there enough thought being given now to the growth in Nashville?
I'd have to say, from where I sit, no. I mean, I do feel like that so many people are working so hard at it. The Metro Historic Zoning Commission, for one. I mean, people work very hard at trying to do this. So I don't want to by any means like undermine what they're saying or belittle the work that they're putting into it. But because of if everything's going so fast, and because of the need, I mean, there's some needs for growth that, oh, well, that building's old, it's hard to take care of, let's just get rid of it and move forward. So it is a lot harder right now, and it is a lot tougher, and things are going quickly. If you look twice and it's gone, and you didn't even know it was gone, and you wake up on a Monday and it's gone, you know. So
or overnight.
Overnight. So
we talked about one building right before the show. I think it was the Trail West building.
Yeah, it was the Trail West building.
It was enough. What's the story there? Do you think enough was done? That was a historic building, right, downtown, and it was. What about that?
Well, surely from where I sit, I don't. You know, I wish there was more done, but you know, these things do happen, and you know, it's just unfortunate that there was not an opportunity for maybe for us to be more vocal in part of it, and to hear more about what could have been preserved potentially, or if pieces of it. Was there any discussion about it? And the fact that it happened overnight, you know, just kind of raised eyebrows. But you know, my understanding was everything was legitimately done. It was just, you know, the nature of being overnight and we not knowing about it. Just kind of made us raise our eyebrows, and of course we were very saddened to see it go. The Broadway district is a historic district, and it is one of the contributing buildings to that. So we were disappointed, but you know, if one thing had happened, it's interesting. It happened the day before we announced our Nashville 9. So what it did was, I think it brought a lot more attention to it, and unfortunately, sometimes, you know, unfortunate events do bring, you know, more attention to it, and people who may have another property realize if we don't get serious about a way to save our building or our property or whatever, it really could be gone. It could get to a point where it is too much in a you know, being unable to bring it back. That is, there is no option but to tear it down.
That has been such a part of America, it seems like, that we're just always in a hurry.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not as much history that's preserved. And I think Bill Bryson writes about Gatlinburg, that every 9 years it looks totally different. You know, it just turns over.
Yeah.
And some people would say, well, that's progress and that's healthy. But
Right.
Why do you think what you're talking about here is so important?
Well, so I tell you why. Literally, kind of what you've said too. It's because Nashville has boomed so much over the years, the past few years, that things are changing rampantly. I mean, it's just, you know, development's happening so fast, and we don't want to be that. We don't want Nashville to be, it's changing every, you know, 10 years, or, you know, look at Nashville now and just have a completely different view of what it was, you know, 10 years ago. And I say that, and I still feel like the growth is good, and I really feel like many of the developments have been outstanding. It's just the fact that I just believe that, and we believe in Historic Nashville, is that, okay, just before you know, let's make sure before you just disregard this historic structure, let's think about it. Is there a way to incorporate it into your new solution? And if not, you know, what can we do? Can we save pieces of it? Is there, you know, there's a lot of different degrees that we at least want to be in the discussion about. I really believe that, you know, Nashville, what really put Nashville on the map was our country music and just being Music City, and many of the things that, you know, made us Music City. Our brand is important, and our brand is based on a lot of things that happened, you know, in the 60s, 70s, 50s, and that's why it's important to be able to, when tour people are driving down the road, they can say, you know, so-and-so performed there, so and so recorded there, you know, and if that, you know, we don't want them to say, and what used to be there was the studio, what used to be there. I mean, we just don't want that, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, it does make a difference.
It makes a difference.
And before you go to break, you are a volunteer.
Yes.
I mean, that's another important thing to point out.
Yeah, Historic Nashville, we've been around for since the late 60s. Been kind of what we are now, Historic Nashville, since 1975. So we've been around for 40 years, but we are an all-volunteer board. We're all volunteers. We have a membership of people that this board serves, and what we try to do is spread it out, and get all of us to be very involved. And we are all. This is a very hard-working board, and it's even been harder the past few years.
I bet every member of the board was fighting to come on tonight. So I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you for being here. All right, what we're going to do?
They're knocking on the door right now.
I know. They're all going to be right outside. All right, we're going to take a break, and then I want to start going down the list.
Okay.
And we have pictures of this year's 9 endangered or threatened places. So we'll take a break. Be back right after this.